is hoping to take their first AA championship in 7 years. Tonight they played Taconic, and the Purple Knights didn't waste any time proving themselves in this one, the first half. Check out the run after the catch by Kyle Kemp. Is that Kyle Kemp in Holyoke or Troy Brown in Pittsburgh? I don't know.
How many times has this kid done this in the last 2 years?
Well, he told me after the game tonight that this was his longest run, so I'll have to take his word. 96 yards. Holyoke had a 21-6 lead at the break, but in the second, the Purple Knights hit the ground, and Joey Scott getting it done. He scampers 21 yards, his number. Holyoke was running away with it, but Scott was not even started yet. He was just getting going. On special teams, he returns kicks, and look at this. Unbelievable, 47 yards for the touchdown. Holyoke is looking very good. A big victory to start the season. Purple Knights were up to Taconic 34-6, and the Purple Knights will be a force in the AA conference this season.
It's a big win. Our defense did great. We had that one score, but we can work on that, and just proves that we're going to be a good team this year, and we're going to be a contender.
I expect a real hard battle. That's what I expected. I just knew we were ready for the game, and I expected a big game out of everyone.
All right, congratulations to Holyoke with their big win tonight. You know, tough, I just thought of this now. Tough night.
Head down the road to Holyoke, where the band was playing on and the cheerleaders were cheering as they played host to Taconic. Aaron Smith will take a step back, find a quick out to Kyle Kemp, and he will teeter the line and then cuts it back. Guess what? He is gone on that new turf. 96 yards for the touchdown. Holyoke in control in this one. Taconic hadn't scored yet, but they would get on the board before halftime. It'll be Corey Phillips passing to Hugh Corecha for the reception. He will take it to the 1-yard line, and that would set up the touchdown. Corecha will later hand off to E.J. Jones and punch it in to put him on the board. But Holyoke, the big winner tonight, 34-6 was the final. Another big game.
Better, hopefully.
All right, South Hadley welcomed AA Power Holyoke to their new field tonight. The Purple Knights scored a quick touchdown to end the first half, 14-0. Their first possession of the second half netted another touchdown. Here it is, Aaron Smith to Nick Kane, two juniors combined. It was 21-0. And then the play that put the game away. And Dave, how many times have we seen this kid do this? On 3rd and 17, deep in their own territory, Kyle Kemp got the call.
Oh. You almost got hit there, Scott.
I backed off but stayed with it. 90-plus yards for the touchdown that made it 28-0. Holyoke scored again for a 34-0 final, a 2-0 start. The guys who touched the football credited the line play with the victory.
That's what won the game for us. I mean, a lot of people saw Kyle and me and Joey Scott run on the outside. That's what the fans saw, but it was one up front by our line. They did a great job.
Came out kind of slow, both sides of the ball, and we scored twice before the half, and it just opened a lot of things in the second half, gave us the momentum. Both their backs are fast, good quarterback, and they just outran us around the corners. Couldn't catch them.
And that Brian Roach is a heck of a player, and he played very, very well tonight. But Holyoke just a little bit too much for South Hadley to handle this evening.
One of the other things I learned tonight.
Yeah, it feels good.
That it does. In South Hadley, the Tigers host Holyoke at 6-0 Purple Knights. They're close again, and Kyle Kemp will hit Joey Scott inside, and it's 12-0 Holyoke. They decide to go for two, and this time it's Aaron Smith who will roll out and then find Kyle Kemp, the guy who just threw a touchdown pass. It's one quarterback to another. Holyoke leads 14-0. They go on to win the game 34-0 over South Hadley, the final. In Westfield, it's 1.
All right, let's move along.
Go to another battle. In the AA, 3-0 Holyoke hosting a 1-2 Westfield. The Knights were cruising 16-0 in the third. Aaron Smith adds to it. He just follows his blocking. The 2-point conversion was no good. It's 22-0. Not much went right for the Bombers. Smith bombs away, but his pass is picked off by Nick Galarno. But the Bombers couldn't capitalize. The Knights driving again here. Smith hands off to Joey Scott, and the man with 2 first names gets the touchdown. Holyoke remains undefeated. They beat Westfield 30-0.
You know, we came out and our defense played great. I mean, our offense did a pretty good job, our line did a good job, but coaches focused like all year long on defense, and we came up, we had like 3 shutouts in a row so far, so I mean, we're playing good defense.
If I had to pick a key, it'd be the second half. When we came out, we stopped them, and then when they punted it, we brought it back for a touchdown, but marched it down the field for a touchdown. So those 2 plays right there were the keys.
Let's move on to Holyoke. They're taking on the Bombers of Westfield. Purple Knights from midfield, and that's Joey Scott. Going all the way. It looks great, but unfortunately, the play was called back on a clip. Now, eventually, Holyoke will get one that counts, and it's Kyle Camp who sets it up on the pitch out right here. He gets it down to the Westfield 1-yard line. Then a little bit later on, Aaron Smith will punch it on home on the keeper. Holyoke pitches their third shutout in 4 games. They've only got up 6 points all year. Smith with a touchdown right here. Camp scored on a 2-point conversion, and Holyoke beats Westfield tonight. 30-0 was the final. Chicopee taking on Minnechaug at Zod Park.
Every week, and
Well, undefeated still out there in the Double-A. Minnechaug beat Longmeadow last night. Holyoke took its show to Cathedral this afternoon. The Panthers are not having a good year, but they made the Knights work for this one. Holyoke didn't score until late in the first quarter, capitalizing on a fumble at midfield. Aaron Smith went deep to Justin Serbiez, who came down with it at the 3. The Knights scored from there. Early in the second, Kyle Camp got it done from 13 yards out, and the Purple Knights had a 14-0 lead. Joe Santineri also scored from 13 yards out. Holyoke led 20-0 at the half. The Knights stuck 2 quick ones up there in the third, and then Central got on the board. David Griffin to John Brown, an 8-yard touchdown toss, but Holyoke went on to win this one 42-8. The Falcons.
All right, Agawam upset Amherst last Friday. Could they do it again tonight against undefeated Holyoke? Purple Knights led 12-7 at the half. They threatened to score on their first possession of the second half, but on 4th and 1 near the goal line, Mike Lockey dropped Aaron Smith, and Agawam took over. Holyoke got the ball back, though, and just gave it to Lucky 7. My main man, Kyle Camp here, Dave. Time and time again, this slashing run good for 23 yards and a first down. And then the next play, Camp ran the other way. An 11-yard score. The 2-point try was good. It was 20-7 in favor of the Purple Knights, and they were rolling. Let's go to the fourth quarter now. They've got so many weapons. This is Joey Scott. He turns in a 50-yard touchdown run that put him up 34-7. 34-15, the final score. Agawam remains undefeated.
Stepped it up, came off a little shaky in the first half, but pulled it off in the second, played as a team. Minnechaug and Longmeadow are real good teams. Center's a real good team, and we're just going to work harder every week and play good.
The next couple of games are going to be big for us. We're going to have to play the best games that we played up to now, and we just keep doing that. And our line's going to have to keep stepping it up at backs. Defense is always doing good. And we're just coming out to play every week.
All right, there's the 2-point conversion, and they're looking good. And, of course, they've got Central next week. And they are looking forward to that game. They're getting into the meat of their schedule, and they feel like they'll be tested the next 3 weeks.
You know, Scott, in looking at these 2 first games, you see how important these slash-type players are. Kyle Camp, Brett Holm. All the great teams seem to have 1 or 2 of these guys that can do everything on the football field.
And in this case, Holyoke has 3 and 4 of those
That's
guys.
right.
So, all right, congratulations to the winners tonight. We've got a lot more straight ahead, David.
On a Friday, tonight in Holyoke, the undefeated Purple Knights played host to the upset-minded Agawam Brownies. Take a look at the highlights. Purple Knights come in at 5-0, but the Brownies are thinking maybe they can pull this one off. Facing 3rd and long, Joe Clark works down the shotgun, connects with Ryan Lodemoser for the first down and more. He makes it 6, and Agawam has a 7-0 lead. Defense for the Brownings also like to make stand up. Lodemoser strips the ball, and John Montalvo recovers for Agawam. That also gave the ladies something to cheer about, but Holyoke would get the ball back, and they go on the attack. Aaron Smith looks long and hooks up with Kyle Camp for the big game. Camp almost broke that one in for 6, but before long, it's Joey Scott. He takes it in for the touchdown. Holyoke comes back to beat the Brownies and stay unbeaten. 33-15 was the final. They'll take on Central next week. Amherst visiting Longmeadow.
Game that Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Friday Football Fever. I'm Scott Cullen, as always, joined by my partner, Dave Guthrow.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, they said, who's going to be doing the show with you tonight? Sitting in the chair, and I said, well, young Guthrow was. So,
of course.
Here you are. And, buddy, people can't stop talking about these chairs.
And why not? They're comfortable, luxurious. It's a beautiful thing. I got to find a way to fit them in my car.
Hey, great matchups tonight, and buddy, it is beginning to feel a lot like football season out there. It was cold.
Sure is. Not as cold as I thought it was going to be. I'd like to see a little snow one of these nights. No?
No, not.
Am I alone?
Not quite yet. Well, how about the big local football going on tonight? And I'll tell you what, Central and Holyoke were kind of taking on each other. They needed to both keep winning, especially Central. It's our big game. Well, it's been a while since the Knights have won this one, and it didn't take Central long to poke one across. Ryan Vizinu found Brendan Nelson all by himself from 20 yards out, and the Eagles jumped to an 8-0 lead. Holyoke would answer. Fullback Ryan Mann was the workhorse. 16 yards to the 4. He took it in from there on the next down, and the game was even at 8. Joey Scott Maley ran right at his old teammates this evening. 22 yards for another Holyoke touchdown. The Knights led 16-8 at the break. And then the first play from scrimmage in the second half, Aaron Smith gave it to Kyle Camp. And Matt, how many times has this kid done this?
That's got to be 3 this year.
At least. 90 yards up the left side, 22-8 Holyoke. They held off Central tonight. It went down to the wire, but Holyoke won the game 30-22.
It's the best game in Western Mass. I don't care what anybody says. There might be good teams out there. Like Monroe was the best team, but this is the best game in Western Mass every year. And then we come out winners today, but every year is a different game.
You've never beaten Central, man.
Nope. I beat him in 8th grade, and that was about it. But coming out here, 3 years it took me, but it feels great. It's one of the best feelings I ever felt in football.
So it looks like Holyoke's still in the driver's seat, and Minnechaug's right behind.
Holyoke and Minnechaug, and what a change from last year. Longmeadow and Central were the teams to watch. And that AA conference, you never know who's going to come up.
No, you don't. It's like, hey, listen, the Yankees didn't play in the World Series this year, and
no, they didn't.
No, they didn't. And so good for the winners, and should be an interesting rest of the way.
Sure will.
All right, let's stop wasting time.
Okay.
All right, listen, we've got much more coming up on a busy show and a busy night of high school football around Western Mass. We'll have scores, highlights, and a reaction from all the other games.
Monday, and
this guy right here.
Always.
Hey, I've watched Holyoke play a lot. They're a good team, and Central needed to win their game tonight, and that was our big game this evening. And you know what? I keep saying that field they play on is suited to the kind of club that they have this year. I'm talking about the Purple Knights now.
It sure is. Quickness, speed.
Yep.
That's the type of field that team, or the team, easy for me to say, fields like that favor teams like Holyoke that are quick like that.
All right. Well, listen, our man about town, as always, is our good friend Jim Klein. Jimbo, you got a chance to see the big game again tonight. What'd you think?
You know what? This is the big game. I will even say right now that the Holyoke Central game will be the big game next year when it's played, and the year after that, right? We've talked back in the office about how some coaches like to call a lot of timeouts. They have 10 of them. They're going to call every one of them. They've been given 5 per half, with the idea being that players can get a rest, but the coaches use them for coaching purposes. Now, with less than a minute to go in the first half tonight, Central had the ball at the Holyoke 4, 3rd and 1, and the Eagles were out of timeouts. They got the first down at the 1, but then spiked the ball to stop the clock. So, it's 2nd and goal at the 1. Kasim Griffin doesn't get in, and Central spikes the ball one more time. And then on 4th down and 1, Central fails to get it into the end zone one more time, and Holyoke has a 16-8 lead at the half. It was a big defensive stand. It was also a bit of an offensive blunder.
We just stuffed them on the goal line, and it made, I think it made a major difference in the outcome of the ball game.
You're a little surprised to see them waste 2 downs just to stop the clock?
I was very surprised when they spiked the ball those 2 times. I was very surprised. I thought they might have had time enough to run a play, but that's a coach's decision, and I'm not going to question it. I might have done the same thing. I'm not in that situation.
Central had the timeouts. They have 4 shots at putting it in the end zone. They only had 2, as it turned out. 4 shots to put it in the end zone. They tied the game at 16 all. They wound up losing by 8 points in the end. So that was the difference right there.
Okay, Jim, good job, and we'll see you at the big game. We're sending you to Minichog and Holyoke coming up here pretty soon, too. They're going to be playing each other
That will
again.
be a big game.
All right, good job tonight. All right, so there you go. Boy, I didn't realize Central came awfully close to scoring that touchdown. That was a great game. Congratulations to both teams.
Yeah, they sure did. Central's one of those teams that call a lot of timeouts early in the game, and that's what hurt them tonight.
All right.
Yeah. Farmers 20-0.
Perfect football weather and a great big game.
Absolutely. We had the jackets on, but it didn't really need the gloves. And, of course, when Central and Holyoke meet, it's always a big battle. We're talking about our big game. Ray Mitchell knew his hands would be full in the City School Showdown. It was the first big test for the Purple Knights. A key defensive stop gave Holyoke an 8-point lead at the half. And on the first play from scrimmage in the second half, it's Kyle Camp. 90 yards for the score. Kyle finished with a healthy 194-yard night, 22-8 Yoke. Central would answer right back. It's Mike Williams from 3 yards out, that is, as Central cuts the lead to 8. Early in the fourth, the Purple Knights smash mouth back Joey Scott left with a shoulder injury. Scott, who used to play for Central, got plenty of respect on the stretcher from Central. Central's coaches looking for a defensive stop, but Aaron Smith's keeper gave Holyoke a 16-point lead at 30-14. Midway through the fourth, it's Mike Williams from 3 yards out as Central closed the gap to 30-22. The Golden Eagles will get 2 last chances with under a minute to play. Ryan Visno going upstairs, but Eddie Aldemovar with the INT as Holyoke remains unbeaten. 30-22 the final.
We were saying that the papers were saying, everybody was saying we haven't been tested yet, and I think we've been tested right now this week. I mean, it was a great game, and we pulled out on top.
Our defense has been holding us together. They gave us the momentum in the game, and we had a little trouble, but we did what we had to do, and we just stopped them.
That was definitely a big test. Their next big test, they get Amherst next week, but the bigger test will probably come against Long Meadow in 2 weeks. But Holyoke is for real.
And then if the teams play the way they've been playing, Minichog is looming in the horizon as well.
Absolutely. I think it's like the week before Thanksgiving. It could be like the last week of the season, undefeated showdown.
That could be some game.
That would be awesome.
That's way in the future, though. Right now, we have a lot more games to take a look at, including what we thought. 7-0. They feature a high-scoring offense and a very stingy defense. Both of them anchored by our 22 News Athlete of the Week, Kyle Camp. Jamie Podworski makes the presentation.
The Super Bowl race in Division I football is heating up, and the Holyoke Purple Knights are right in the thick of things, with senior Kyle Camp leading the way.
We all want a Super Bowl, and that's what we've been talking about since the senior class, since we were freshmen, so we're hoping for a Super Bowl ring.
Very mature young man, and he's an outstanding leader. He is well respected by the kids. He's an excellent captain. You know, if I had a daughter, I'd try to steer her towards Kyle, you know.
Camp demands the respect of his peers by setting the ultimate example himself.
Just to go out and play with your heart. If you don't play with your heart, then, you know, in Holyoke, there's a high tradition here. So if you don't play like that, you don't have a place on this team.
The Purple Knights have benefited this season from balancing the running attack between Camp and junior Joey Scott. But when Holyoke has needed a big play, they turn to their captain.
He's been the glue on this team. He's come up with big plays every game over and over and over. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's got great speed, great balance. And if there's not a hole there and everything else in the inside, he bounces it to the outside.
On the field, his speed, he's a great speed, great vision, and just his maturity over the years. It's been fun to watch. It takes the pressure off of me a lot. Play action, or if you give it to him, you know he can take it to the house anytime.
Presented this trophy from Bulldogs Apparel and Awards of Agawam to this week's 22 News Athlete of the Week from Holyoke High School, Kyle Camp. Congratulations.
All right, well, the other AA undefeated Holyoke headed to Amherst tonight to face the 4-3 Hurricanes. Well, the Purple Knights were upset by Amherst last season. Could another shocker be in the air? Holyoke had a 7-3 lead at the half, but the Hurricanes came out flying in the second. Stu Handel finds Ben Colvin cutting across the middle, and the big guy does the rest. 35 yards. It was 10-7 Amherst. But the Hurricanes D held the potent Knights attack in check. Down 18-7, Holyoke quarterback Aaron Smith tries to get the Knights back into it, but look at this. His pass is picked off by Brendan McKinney, the athletic dive right there. He had 2 interceptions in the second half, and Amherst turned that one into points. Mike Riley, the Husky running back, 15 yards to pay. How do you like that? That was the dagger. Amherst stuns Holyoke. How do you like that? 25-7.
Wow.
That's the Knights' first loss of the season.
Feels good. How about John Thorpe? Man, this guy is
Punt return with a touchdown, and Holyoke has a first quarter lead at 7-3, and it stayed that way through the half. It was 7-3 Holyoke at the half. It was cold. I told you it was cold out there. Here's Amherst trying to come back in the second quarter, but the pass is picked up by Hector Rivera. But Amherst did come back in the second half, and they went on to win, and they beat Holyoke 25-7. Holyoke's first loss of the season. How about that? Holyoke takes the loss.
Mike Duke.
So stay tuned, but a lot of good action in football tonight, too.
You bet. That's what we lead with. Here's the deal. The top 2 teams from the AA Conference go to Super Bowls. With Minnechaug's stellar season, the loser of tonight's Longmeadow Holyoke game would be on the outside looking in. It is the big game. Longmeadow scored quickly on the opening drive. Holyoke used the rest of the quarter to drive the other way, going for it on 4th downs, and then on 2nd and goal from the 14, Aaron Smith found Kyle Camp with the touchdown pass. The 2-point conversion was no good, and Longmeadow had an 8-6 lead at the end of 1. Now, the Knights stopped the Lancers on the next drive and got the ball at midfield, but Joe Funari picked it off at the 29 and went 71 yards. Big Joe, come on. The 2-point conversion, and Longmeadow had a 16-6 lead. Look at him go. Jamison Humphreys was the workhorse on the next drive, and he took it in from the 1. He had 2 touchdowns tonight. And the Lancers scored again following an onside kick. Marquise Jenkins this time from 19 yards out. And then Matt Russo couldn't find an outlet next time up the field, so he tucked it and ran one in. The Lancers led 37-6 at the break. They went on to win big tonight, 51-14.
Yeah, offensive line blocked great, and quarterback did a good job. Whole team played great.
Did you expect it to be like this, the score?
I don't know when we play with the way we can, yeah, I think we can do anything, and we did, so yeah.
We suffered a pretty bad loss against Minnechaug. Things were not happening, but after that, we've really clicked. From everywhere, from the 3rd string to the 1st string. We've been working harder in practice, we've been playing harder, we've been putting more effort, we've been thinking more, and it shows on the field.
Yeah, well, of course, Amherst last week stunned Holyoke 2 losses in a row for the Purple Knights.
They're the upset specials.
How do you like that? Well, with that win, the Hurricanes stayed in Super Bowl contention, but tonight...
Intangibles that win ball games tonight. Longmeadow drew penalties on the first 2 extra point attempts and went for 2 instead of 1 and took a 16-6 lead. 16-6 was the turning point of this game, but it was the touchdown that did the turning. The Knights would have had the lead had they scored on this drive, but Joe Funari picked one off at his own 27 and found his way up the field for a score, and the Purple Knights were in a hole. A 15-yard penalty after the next score had Longmeadow kicking off from the Holyoke 45, so it's an onside kick recovered by the kicker, and the Lancers score again, and it's turned out the Knights.
Together big time. They did a really good job coming together, and the team did a really good job blocking after the interception.
We stopped the 2-point conversion, so that was a big play, and then that the turnover on the interception was a huge play and kind of changed the momentum, I thought.
So guys, it looks like Longmeadow is right in there again. This was a big win for them tonight. They've got Agawam next week, and then East Long.
Take a look at some football highlights. Holyoke taking on Longmeadow. In Holyoke, Ray Mitchell still going for his 100th career win, but the Lancers say not this week. 28 unanswered points in the second quarter, and here they are in the third. That's Jamison Humphreys from 21 yards out. They were up 44-6 at this point. Meadow defense not letting up either. Jim Pacella with the sack right there, and the Lancers put the finishing touches on a blowout of Holyoke. Even the water girls say hello. Senior Nate Nato goes right up the middle. He turns on the Jets, and Longmeadow hammers Holyoke tonight at Holyoke. 51-14, the final.
Well, welcome to the big show, everybody. Hard to believe it is our last Friday night. Unbelievable.
It is. You have to wait till Thanksgiving to sit in these plush leather chairs again.
And we had another athlete of the week, and Coach, first thing they wanted to do was sit in the leather chairs, right?
That's right. That's right. And actually, Brett Holm also told us to sit a little bit cooler in the seats. So,
all right, well, I got my legs crossed. 3 teams with a chance to qualify for a Super Bowl tonight. Only one of them did.
That's right. Hard to believe. Minichog had a chance with a win tonight against Holyoke. A lot of people thought they would, but you never know.
Not so. Undefeated Minichog could seal a trip to a Super Bowl with a win tonight, but Holyoke's postseason hopes would disappear with a loss. The Purple Knights had a big, big game tonight. All right, and here we go. The Knights scored on their second possession of the game. Aaron Smith finds Nick Kane along the sidelines. He goes 40 yards to the Minichog 30-yard line. Then on 4th and 3 at the 7, Smith is almost caught in the backfield. He heaves it into the end zone, and Kane comes down with the touchdown. Holyoke takes a 6-0 lead. The Falcons caught up in the second quarter. Joe Malvezzi will break one. 42 yards down to the 11-yard line. Dave Garden would score on the quarterback keeper, and Minichog took a 7-6 lead. But Smith answered with a keeper of his own, faking the handoff. Holyoke had a 12-7 lead at the break. Minichog scored first thing in the second half on a 15-yard touchdown pass to Steve Menti. They led 14-12. But with 5:48 to go in the fourth, Joey Scott Melly ran over tacklers from 2 yards out, and Holyoke went back on top 18-14 and held on to win it. And that's victory for Holyoke coach Ray Mitchell.
This team came out thinking that they were going to kill us, and it wasn't going to happen. You know, we shut down their main receiver, number 84, and our defense played great. And when our offense started stepping up, we did.
This is sweet. This is what we hoped for, and this is what we got. And everyone in this team's psyched up right now. It's great.
Playing for a state title in Worcester. We show Holyoke and Minichog the big game tonight. And, you know, Holyoke played great at one point this year, but after losing to Amherst and to Longmeadow, I thought they were all done. But, wow, what a game tonight.
I'll be honest with you, Scott. I wouldn't give Holyoke any chance tonight at all, but you never know.
Well, they did it. And joining us now is our good friend Jim Klein, checking in from the bullpen. And, Jimbo, I'll tell you what. That was a big, big surprise.
This was, Holyoke has a pretty good team, and they matched up well in this one. This was certainly the closest game I've covered all season, and one of the most exciting, too. I noted earlier this year that Minichog has one of the best passing attacks around. Good quarterback, good receivers. If you can stop the Falcons in the air, you've got a chance, and that's just what Holyoke did tonight. Now, the Knights took that 18-14 lead with just under 6 minutes to go. The Falcons started marching up the field. On 4th and 3, Dave Garden ran for a first down at the Holyoke 38. But check the D. Joey Scott Maley sacked Garden for a loss of 14. Back to the Minichog 48. And then Nick Kane breaks up a pass to Steve Menti. 2 big defensive plays. The Falcons had to punt, and Holyoke ran out the clock for the upset.
I was thinking that they're going to go deep to him, so I was just waiting there, right there, and I just jumped up and hit it down. That was a very big play.
Every time they went to trips, I was on the opposite side, and it wasn't working, so I decided to go to the left side where the trips was, and just gave it, went out there, sacked them.
Oh boy, and Joey did some serious running down the stretch, too. I don't know if you caught that touchdown where he went into the end zone.
And I still have plenty of energy to talk about it. We're going to start in football. We're talking about Super Bowl implications. It's our big game. Can't get enough F&F. Undefeated Minichog taking on Holyoke. Minichog led 14-12 early in the second half. Holyoke driving 4th and 3rd in the red zone, but Steve Menti breaks it up as Holyoke went for it all. It remained 14-12 in the fourth quarter as people were high and low to catch the action. Holyoke was driving when Kyle Campbell cut one back to the outside. Any normal athlete would have come into your living room right there, but this is a former 22 News Athlete of the Week, and Cam cuts the corner for a big game. I, myself, and my camera thank him. Later in the drive, it's Joey Scott who caps it off for 6 points. The Purple Knights took an 18-12 lead with 5:48 to play. 2-point conversion, no good. But the Super Bowl goes through Minichog, and the Falcons will try to muster one last drive. Facing 4th and 3, Dave Garden will tuck it in and head for the first down marker. He's close, so close Ryan Hannafy can't look. but by inches, it's a first down. No matter, though, because on the very next play, it's Joey Scott sacking Dave Garden as Minichog would not get another first down, and the Purple Knights run out the clock for an 18-14 upset of previously undefeated Minichog.
I had the greatest time of my life. Came out to play. Everybody played the best of their ability, and greatest feeling I ever had in my whole life.
The 100th is 100, and that's fine and dandy. I just so happy for these kids. It was an exciting game. So many fans here. We're very, very crowded, and both sides really into the game. And this is what high school football is all about.
Oh, it sure was. What a great game. And Holyoke, they could have been still alive, but we'll see later on that they were eliminated. But this sets up a big showdown between
with the...
Every field goal was an adventure today, Scotty. Now, how do you like this? Snow wasn't a factor in Holyoke. Roberts Field equipped for Mother Nature, but Holyoke was not equipped for Chicopee's running game. Steve Gamble busts in from the one, and that's about as exciting as the Chicopee offense gets. Well, what can you do? The Purple Knights are explosive, though. Senior Josh Smith gets into the open field. Look at this, and he rolls 35 yards inside Chicopee's 10-yard line. This Holyoke team, I mean, Aaron Smith, Josh Smith, Joey Scott Mail, and your boy, Kyle Camp,
baby.
Getting it done right there. He rushes this one in for his 9th touchdown of the season. Holyoke went on to beat Chicopee 40-35. The Purple Knights finished their season with a 9-2 record, just short of a trip to the Super Bowl.
We'll look at some more highlights. Let's go to Holyoke, where they've been playing since 1908. Holyoke and Chicopee. Pacers had the early lead, 7-0, but here come the Purple Knights. It's Luis Rodriguez getting it in close for Holyoke. Nice clear field there on that artificial surface there in Holyoke. Later on, he'll punch it in and get it home. It's Rodriguez again, and Holyoke gets the win, 40-35. They finish up their season at 9-2. Now, in contrast to Holyoke, let's go to West Springfield.